So that is a snippet of the press conference from John Harbaugh today, where he talks about culture. Culture being a funny word, where people always mention culture, but he talked a couple of things about culture. He said it's a relentless brotherhood, and it's where player after player buys into the system, so you never quit because you know the guy next to you is never going to quit. And I'll tell you this: John Harbaugh commanded the room. He made me, in a cliche that we said last week, want to run through a wall for this man. So I'm excited as hell. We're fired up. We're going to talk about playoffs. We're going to talk about Harbaugh. We are the Three Angry Giant Fans of the Jet Fan Podcast. With your host Scott, Giant Mike, Cardone, and Angry Jets fan Novak. And guys, Harbaugh's press conference. It's January 20th. I'm psyched. I want football to start tomorrow for us.
Somehow we're ending the season less angry than we did when we started it. I don't know how that's possible. Harbaugh made it possible, I guess. First correct thing the Giants organization has done in a decade. Let's be honest. In a decade.
Or more.
Yeah.
Somebody made the comment that this move is the biggest single day thing that's happened to the Giants since the last Super Bowl win.
Yeah.
And I was already thinking that when I heard the guy say it, and I couldn't agree more. We'll see how it turns out. I know we're got a lot of Harbaugh talk tonight, but the one thing I'm just going to throw out there, guys, because we know what happens in this day and age in the NFL with the fans, is I don't want to hear in 3 years fire Harbaugh. Harbaugh gets his 5. By God, just everyone shut up and let this thing happen for 5 years, and we'll make a call. Because you're going to hear it. The first time the Giants don't win 14 games, overrated. What were we thinking? Get this guy out of here. Harbaugh gets his 5 in my mind. He's earned that. But again, I'm almost afraid to say this because for so many years here we said, barring tragedy, Dable will be back, and then tragedy after tragedy actually happened. But yeah, in my mind right now, I'm not going to fall victim. I'm not going to fall the trap. But I can't. I'm going to mark the day down when I see my first fire Harbaugh post in the media.
And I've gone from apathy to anger. Now I'm on friggin' full-on jealousy. I mean, seriously. Like, I was like, God, why can't I have that? This guy's up there commanding the room, jokes when they were well-timed, just has the look of a guy that is just going to get it done. You guys, you got your guy. The Giants are the new Giants.
His suit looked pressed. He just looked like he came right out of a GQ catalog. The guy just looked... Yeah.
I mean, you remember when what's-his-face came in with that suit that was like 7 sizes too big? Macadouche.
Good God.
Yeah, the CEO coach, right? Is that what they call that? The guy who looks the part?
Yeah.
As opposed to our GM who looked like Stryker trying to land a plane at the airport out there, just sweating and shaking and...
Head Stryker.
Did you see him after he introduced Harbaugh? I think he went into the corner, started hyperventilating into a bag.
What was his deal? Now I'd like to introduce our new coach on Giants, John
Turned into the Jello.
It's like he just ran a marathon and then just went up to the podium. What I noticed about Harbaugh, and this was evident right away, is when you have a new coach in there, they rely on a lot of cliches. They stammer a bit. They're very focused on whatever they're reading. You can notice Harbaugh would look down a bit, maybe look at a cue that he had made for himself, tell a story about his father, answer the question. If he didn't answer the question fully, he would answer the question enough so it sounded like he knew exactly what he was saying. This is the kind of veteran you get like you had when we had Tom Coughlin, who isn't up there just sort of figuring it out. This part he already knows. And I think that's great because we don't have to deal with, awkward press conferences. You're going to have press conferences now where John Harbaugh is either going to shoot it straight or he's going to be angry, be happy, whatever it is. But at least we don't have to worry about him navigating that part of it.
No awkward pauses like Costanza. I'm all awkward pauses.
That's the whole thing. It's funny we're breaking down a press conference like that, but I noticed that too, and it seemed like he was going to his notes just to remember names, like of people that he met that day, trying to make sure he got all the names. But yeah,
I just love that my last thing I want to say is that he's able to use cliches and not have it come off as a cliche, which is just a talent in itself, right? Because last year they asked Aaron Glenn the same thing, and he's like, I just want guys that are going to play football, that want to play football, that love football. And Harbaugh just goes, I just want to have guys that love football. Right? It was just very like matter of fact.
Yeah.
Said the same exact thing, but it didn't come off as a tool.
I'm listening to it like, yeah, that's innovative. That's creative thinking right there.
Exactly. He said nothing. He said every cliche everyone else did, but he comes off polished.
Polish is the word. That's a good word.
Yeah.
So before we break down the games that we saw and go into everything else for this week, let me give a shout out. This one's out in the West Coast, and it's not necessarily even a town. It's a neighborhood. So hello, Mission Hills, California. Population 19,500. It's a neighborhood in LA, and it was named Hickson previously. But the name was changed to reflect the many missions that are in the area that are around Southern California. It's the home of George Lopez, who might be the most disheveled-looking comedian lately, and then also Ryan Braun, the baseball player.
Lloyd Braun?
Any relation to Lloyd? Yeah. Hisman, you beat me to it.
I knew. I can see it. I can see it for me in Cardone's eyes. I had to get on that one fast.
I think California probably has the record for the most towns with the name Mission. You got.
I was just going to say Mission Viejo. Is there any relation to
that? No, just you don't hear about missions, but Mission.
No.
Mission Beach,
Mission
right?
Hills.
Isn't there? Yeah.
Hickson, by the way, one of the many ways people mispronounce my last name. That's Hickson is on the list. Hickson. Yeah.
Hickson?
Oh, yeah. You name it. I get Hickson, Hinson. Yeah. That's on the list.
Like
Hisman with a Z. Hisman with two S's. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Hicksman.
So while the Giants were looking forward to next year, looking at getting their coach in place, we had actual teams playing this week for things on the line. We had the Bills game, which ended up getting the coach fired because of possibly a bad call. We'll break that down. But there was a lot of good. Well, there were two good games, two not so good games. And I think the Bears-Rams game was an interesting game to watch. The Houston-New England game was a debacle for C.J. Stroud, and we'll talk about that. And then you had the final game of the weekend, which just was non-competitive. Well, no, Seattle-San Fran was Saturday night, which was non-competitive.
Yep.
You want to start with one?
Should we start with? Let's start with
the Bills.
Let's start with the Bills. Yeah. So guys, we saw the play in overtime where Cooks was ruled not to have caught the ball. It was an interception. And then we had a mirror play right after that in the Bears-Rams game where it looked like Devontae Adams had caught a ball, had his knee down, was ruled down by contact as the Bears stripped away. We have to get some consistency with the calls on what a fucking catch is. We've talked about this on the pod a lot. What is a catch? And it's defined a certain way. But the funny thing is, both of those calls, by the way, the on-air referee that they consult with, no, he agreed with both those calls.
What a shocker. Of course.
So I don't know how you agree with both and yet say that the rules are fine.
I don't know. It's the down by contact has to be redefined, reevaluated, something in the offseason. Because I love the side by side, right? I'm sure you guys have seen that, right? The last couple of days where, and those two plays, Scott, right? Everyone knows the plays that we're talking about. And, because when you see a turnover, when you do see an interception or like where a guy catches the ball clean, the guy's like fingernail comes across, as they're tumbling down to the ground, you'll see a fingernail like graze the top of the guy's helmet, and that's down by contact. So how the hell was who was it on the Bills? I'm sorry, I just Drew Cooks, of course. It's now in live, in live action, extremely difficult, right? So the officials, but the replay assistants, you've got to get that right. I mean, do you think the majority of football fans think that was a catch? I mean, do you guys? I mean, I thought it was do you think it should be ruled a catch? I do, because
I do too.
if it's down by contact and they use that in other areas and other times of throughout a game, then how the hell that by definition is down by contact? He's got possession, his knee is down, and he's being touched by a defender. Down by contact. What more is there to what? I don't know any other part of that play that is not defining a catch.
I would say this based on previous games that we've seen, that has been ruled down by contact at times.
Yeah.
And I've also seen it in a previous Bears game where Loveland had a catch. Similar situation, they ruled it a simultaneous catch and gave the catch to the receiver.
They went to the baseball rules on that, right? The tie goes to the runner.
Tie goes to the runner.
Yeah. So I've been back and forth on this, and here's my thinking. Let's say the ball ends up on the ground at the end of that play, rather than in the defender's hands. If the ball's laying on the ground after that play, see, here's where my mind changes. I believe we call that incomplete. So, let's say that same play happens, and instead of it in the defender's arms at the end of the play, it's laying on the ground.
Keep going. Sorry.
No, it's all right. Novak, I'm just finishing the thought. I just think if I see that play and then I see the ball roll around on the ground after, I'm like, no catch. Yeah. So if that's the case, if I believe that, then I have to call that an interception. However, I don't know if that's correct or not. Like, I've been back and forth on this. There's no question one of the two teams got screwed. I'm not sure which one it is. It's just one of them got screwed, because you guys are right. It's the same play. And they ruled it two different ways. So one of the teams got screwed. Like I said, that was my criteria, that my most recent criteria I put up to it is, if that ball's on the ground at the end of the play, I don't expect that to be called complete.
Well, and I think there's been a lot of talk, and Novak mentioned this in the text string, and we've heard some rumors about this too. And this is the unacceptable part about it, is they didn't give a full review of it. They didn't do an expedited review. They didn't do a replay. And the rumor is that they didn't do a replay because if you started to extend this game too long, it would infringe upon the Seattle-San Francisco game. Rather than delay the start of that game,
they did
we're talking now. Well, yeah, but I mean,
rather
than
even more,
rather than just keep doing it more, we now are here talking about the fact that the Bills didn't get a fair replay, or whoever didn't get a fair replay because of the constraints of the game, and that to me is more unacceptable than any ruling that they could make.
I mean, I would 100% agree. That was my biggest issue. So they called a timeout anyway. Review it.
Yeah, McDermott was saying to the guys, well, review it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't understand. You're telling me that they review the most ridiculous ball might have, like Cardone said, grazed by a fingernail, ball slightly moved as he went to the ground. They review everything. The biggest play of the season,
right?
They don't review.
So
there's no excuse.
You know how, like in Major League Baseball, we trot out in the playoffs. We trot out the left and the right field umpire. So we have additional umpires. Well, let's do the same concept in the NFL. Yeah. Maybe we bring extra fit. Maybe we have set out, what is there, 7 to a crew? Maybe we fucking have 9 or 10 out there. Maybe we throw more officials on the field, and maybe we throw more review, or everything is reviewed by New York in the playoffs, because what we're acknowledging, like MLB is acknowledging, holy shit, these are important games. We're gonna throw, and they're fucking useless, those guys, actually, to be honest, out in left. But the fact is, like, the point is, it's like, wow, these are important games, right? Playoffs. So we'll bring extra officials out there. Maybe the NFL can adopt the same kind of concept and have some additional, make it mandatory that those kinds of plays go to New York. I don't give a shit how long it takes, the delay. Who's bothered by the fucking delays? The networks, the TVs, fans aren't. The people sitting in the stadium in Seattle, what do they care? It's a Saturday fucking night. So, like, it's unbelievable that, again, we're trying to speed up the game, speed up our lives, speed up football. Who wants that? Who?
But why does it? Why does it need to take so long? Yeah. It doesn't. Have some nerd under a tent on the sideline the whole game looking at every play. So by the time the fat ref runs over there, he already has an answer. It doesn't
Yeah.
need to take 10 minutes.
No,
Like,
move for the
what?
playoff games. Move New York to the stadium. I mean, have
Exactly.
a
Right.
video crew in the stadium that
We
can.
got 3,000 friggin' people on the sidelines. Have one guy in a tent
Yeah.
looking at the damn every single play. Like, it
And
makes no
lost
sense.
and lost in the controversy of this single play is that Josh Allen turned the ball over 4 times in that game, and also the, the refs who stayed out of the way the entire part of the regular game, all of a sudden in overtime introduced themselves. They called 2 big pass interference penalties, and
Shame.
one of them seemed legit, one of them seemed iffy. But I'll say this: the one that seemed legit, there was a play at the end of regulation on Cooks again in the end zone that looked like it could have been pass interference on the Broncos that was not called. So
Yep.
why do you let things go? It's back to the consistency argument that we're going to talk about.
Yep. I thought that play on Cooks was pass interference, but I was completely okay that they didn't call it because the way they had
Agreed.
called the rest of the game, I was like, hey, they've established this game, what this is going to be. I have no problem with that no call. I wanted the Bills to win, but I couldn't. Like I was like, oh, pass interference, right? And then you're like, well, they've let that go this game, so I'm cool with it. And then immediately when overtime starts, they get flag happy. It's like
Yeah.
what the heck?
We've
Tell you
talked
one
about
thing I
this
wasn't
before.
cool
The
with
opposite
was
of hockey.
yeah.
Yeah, the
Little
opposite of
Jordan, I
hockey.
got to make, because it wouldn't be I got to throw out some anger there, angry Giant fans, Jet fans here. Like, it cracks me up that little Jordan Humphreys catching a fucking touchdown pass in a divisional game. I think Hisman, you might have noted that on the thread during the game.
Yeah,
Like
there he is.
like we have so much talent with Slayton and Hyatt that we're tossing aside little Jordan Humphrey, who's fucking making touchdown catches in
Yeah.
divisional rounds.
We evened
Yeah.
it out. We had one ex-Giant, one ex-Jet. Nicole Hardman also caught a touchdown
There were
pass
so
for the
many.
Bills.
There was an ex-Jet in every friggin' game. I just
Yeah.
even ex-coaches are in every game.
Little Jordan Humphrey dropped the touchdown pass earlier in the game too, but he was open. Like this guy's running around getting open for the Denver Broncos in the playoffs. We chose to keep Hyatt on our roster over that guy.
Yeah. And you still have Joe Shane hyperventilating on the staff.
Just turning into jelly at the podium.
One last thing I want to say about this Bill game from my perspective is, they fired McDermott, which I have a problem with, because if you guys remember back at the end of in the middle of the season, right at the trade deadline, I had a pet peeve. And my pet peeve was that the Bills sat on their thumbs and did nothing at the trade deadline while the Seahawks went out and got Rashid Shaheed or whatever. Did that work out for them? How many playmakers does Josh Allen have? James Cook and a bunch of idiots. And you're going to blame McDermott for that? That is absolutely in personnel. He's been playing by himself for like 4 years. Give this guy some friggin' weapons, and then you can complain. So I think the Bills F this up more royally, and I think they're going to start and hit a massive slide now.
Yeah, I agree, because their window to me is closing. McDermott was the winningest coach for Buffalo by far. Like he was better than Marv Levy by several percentage points. And you let this guy walk. I feel almost the way I do about Harbaugh about McDermott is that you have a guy who had consistent 10+ wins the season, and you just kick him to the curb because you can't progress any further. Well, what's the next guy going to do to make you progress further? Josh Allen is on his own there, especially if Cook leaves.
It is so hard to win in this league that the best you can do as a coach is continually put your team in a position. Now, whether or not, because still, even if you put your team in that position, everything has to go right for you. The injuries have to go right. The calls have to go your way. The scheduling has to fall your way. You name it. It all has to congeal and gel into a Super Bowl winning season. And the best a coach can do is hope to, okay, I'm going to put my team in position so when we do get all those things line up for us, we're ready. And Harbaugh, Tomlin, McDermott, these guys have done that consistently and continually. And they're really hard to win. The coach can only get you so far. At some point, you've got to get a little lucky. You've got to have the right plays at the right time. You got to somehow have a little bit of magic somehow. And if it doesn't come, it doesn't come. I think you're asking for too much of a coach who wins double-digit games consistently. You're putting too much on him if you're saying he never makes it through the gauntlet of the playoffs. Show me someone who does consistently. Andy
You were
Reid.
say something?
Somehow these franchises, they don't get it. They have to go through. They have to fire the wrong guy for them to get it, and to know and to suffer through the horse shit that's out there. In terms, I'm talking about the limited number of great coaches that can get you perpetually in the playoffs. And McDermott was one of those guys. I usually don't get that emotionally spun up around personnel of other teams. Other than my own team, but this one really bothered me. This one absolutely bothered me because what the way I thought about it was this was a predetermined firing when the playoffs started. This meaning that if the Bills did not get to the Super Bowl, I'm not saying they had to win the whole thing, but they had to get to the Super Bowl for McDermott to keep his job. They could have won that game and then still lost to New England this weekend in a championship game. I still think the guy gets fired.
Yeah.
So this was a predetermined fucking move before the playoffs started by that organization to say McDermott is gone if we don't reach the Super Bowl. That's it. So it's not really about his ability to have that team ready to play, getting the most from Josh Allen, who's maybe the most important player in the league at this point. Not only just we know the quarterback position, but this particular quarterback, this particular franchise, and this particular current regime with McDermott. I just happen to think the guy's a great coach too. I mean, I kind of have become attached to Buffalo a little bit. I'm one of those fans that we know some Bills fans, us personally, and other that this is. Other than the Jets, Novak, I mean, the Bills are another one of those deserving franchises that I usually don't feel bad for teams when they lose. This Bill team, for some reason, I know I like them because I really felt bad when this Bill team lost Saturday night. And it's not McDermott's fault. It's really not. I mean, the guy, he'll land on his feet, obviously. Look like a Harbaugh. He'll get swallowed up by a coach or by another team very soon. But I just think what really pisses me off is the predetermination that this guy's being canned before the playoffs even got started.
Your hair.
And talking about ripping your heart out, this team outdoes themselves every single year. They find a new way to lose. It is unbelievable. Now, I would trade places with them to actually be in it, but my God, the heart is just ripped out of this team every single year. It's wild.
But I'm going to ask you guys a question because I was trying to think about this, and maybe I just had blinders on. Name a team that was consistently in the playoffs, getting close, that switched out their coach and then won. I look back at Marty Schottenheimer. He got close a number of times. Then once he left, they went through a slide after that. I was thinking about those Browns teams with like Biner and Mack and guys like that. And once they switched out their coach, they went into the abyss. Wayne Fonts with the Lions, he got close, and then they got rid of him, and they went back to being the Lions. I can't think of many teams out there that were close, switched up the coach, and then all of a sudden went
and then got over the hump.
I mean,
I got to give that one some thought. That's a great question.
Vrabel is one from the Titans, but they didn't go on a run. They stunk even worse. So I think this is going to happen to the Bills.
Yeah, I think the Bills now, we already were talking earlier this year about their window being about ready to be closed. And this, to me, shuts the window. I think it's a terrible move because McDermott, for, the faults that Bills fans might have of him or ownership might have had to him, he had his team competing week in and week out. And you're going to do that when you have Josh Allen. That's a given. But you still are making the playoffs. You're winning divisions. You're going for it.
No, I think you're being short-sighted even if you're Tomlin. I mean, that length of time that he hasn't really advanced. I mean, 7 playoff losses in a row, that might be something, but still, who are you going to find out there? Who are you going to hire that's better than Mike Tomlin or John Harbaugh or Sean McDermott?
There's not enough out there.
So
you've got to catch lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
Sorry, Scott, I keep interrupting you when you try to move on.
You're fine. You're actually fine. So the other close game we touched upon it here because there's a similar play in that was the Bears Rams, and everyone's talking about the Caleb Williams pass to tie the game to send it to overtime, and then not many people are talking about the Caleb Williams pass that basically ended their season and went for a pick. I You guys know I'm a little bit biased. I don't like Ben Johnson. I
You
don't
do
like
not like Caleb
I
Williams
don't
either,
like
clearly.
Caleb Williams. But the thing I can't get over, and it extended into this week, was on the pick that Caleb Williams threw in overtime. Chris Collinsworth swore it was DJ Moore's fault that ball was picked. And if you watch the replay, the Ram cornerback makes a great play, a diving play on a ball that was thrown to an area no one was looking for it at. And so you watch that throw and you're saying to yourself, it was actually, I think it was a second down throw. So Caleb Williams didn't have to force that throw. He did. It ended up getting picked, and then Stafford drove down, and then their rookie kicker ended the game. Um, and again, the Bears season ends. I see a lot of parallels between the Bears season last year and the Redskins season the year before, but I'll leave it at that. I'll take your guys' comments on it.
I don't remember Collinsworth's comment about Moore on that. What I was thinking there was if I remember the drive correctly, they had a few good runs. They were kind of controlling the line of scrimmage. I'm talking about Chicago, right? And they had the one, I think it was was it fourth down that they converted with Caleb Williams with the run, right? And I thought they would kind of keep it on the ground. So whoever's decision, whether it was the play call or like I said, I thought it was kind of I don't want to say unnecessary, but it was almost like a forced play by Williams there to throw that ball deep, against that coverage there. And I was actually shocked because I remember he had a lot of time on that throw. And, when you're watching in the camera, you can't see what's, deep down the field, and you're expecting to see a receiver there. When you have that much time, you're expecting to see the guy just open. And when that ball was picked, even though it was in their own territory, I was thinking, like, that's the game, man. LA is going to come down and win this game right there. So whoever that was on in terms of, the play call or the execution of it, I wasn't that upset. I kind of wanted LA to win. So I was happy the way the game ended. I do want to make one comment about this game. I heard it on Colin Cowherd, what he was talking about. And I like to keep track of, I don't really write it down or anything, but I like to keep track of drops. And because one thing that is not show up in the stat sheet or drops by receivers, and I'm talking about the obvious ones, there seems to be so many these days that and they're always in the most massive, critical downs. So I started to keep track of drops in the last year or two. And now the weather conditions were really tough in that game, right? And you got LA, a warm weather, Southern California team, obviously coming into Chicago, and they trotted out a bunch of stats, in terms of the weather related things to concern that they thought the Rams might have struggled with. Where I'm going with this is they said the Rams did not officially have a dropped pass, which was, I thought, pretty remarkable. This is what I heard, so I don't know. I don't remember, but if someone fact checked it or whatever on the show, they I thought that was amazing because I'm like, wow. When you think about all the things that have to happen in a game to go right, and the one things that's not in the box score are drop passes, and if LA didn't have one, it seems like they didn't. Well, that is something that is quietly under the radar and helped them win that game because every team seems to be suffering a lot of those today. I just wanted to bring that up because I heard that, and I just yesterday during Colin Cowherd's broadcast, and I thought it was I wanted to share it on the pod tonight. I thought it was pretty cool.
Well, what do you know, Bills fans? That's what happens when you have Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua as your receivers.
Yep.
Right? I mean, one thing I wanted to point out at this game, I thought I was going to be right about them going for 2 and not getting it and winning, and the Rams winning by 1. I really was hoping that would be the case, and I'm surprised. Aren't you guys surprised he didn't go for 2?
I am, yes. And actually, Collinsworth said something at the time, are they going for 2?
I mean,
I didn't think there was any question.
The new riverboat, he didn't decide to go for 2.
Yeah.
Shocked. No, maybe it was just too much chaos going on, and I don't know. But I'm surprised, and I thought he should have. in that situation. You were gifted not gifted that touchdown, but I think you drop back on that spot, and you're probably, as a coach in your head, if we convert here and get a touchdown, I'm going for 2 to win this damn thing. And he didn't, and I was shocked.
If I was even coming down the field there as a coach and I'm wavering on whether, okay, if we score, am I going for 2 or not? If I score on that type of play, I'm definitely going for 2.
100%.
Because 3 seconds into that play, you're like, season's over.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden it's not. And yeah, so I don't think there's any doubt there that, that's probably a decision. Even I would have gone for 2 in, but you talk about that throw for a second, because as Scott mentioned, it's being lauded as one of the great all-time NFL throws. And
the 14-yard throw that ended up being a 50-yarder.
Guys, that was the luckiest throw I've ever seen. He threw that ball up for grabs because he knew it was the end of the game. And first of all, the tight end, he got away with a little push off there, but it wasn't one I'd want called in that situation at all. Nothing like that. But yeah, I don't know what those defenders are doing. I mean, why you're not in the back corner of the end zone on a receiver? What are you looking for? You get ready to celebrate? Like, what are you guys doing?
There's 2 of them on a tight end. That's slow as molasses. Then these 2 guys can't keep up with them.
Yeah. And then to go over to the other throw, the 2 throws that Scott talked about. If I were DJ Moore, I would sue Chris Collinsworth for libel. DJ Moore did nothing wrong on that play, man.
DJ Moore didn't even know it was being thrown. He wasn't even looking at the quarterback.
Did he run a little bit of a lazy route? Maybe, but to your point, Caleb had no pressure on him. He could see the whole field. It's not like he was trying to throw into a tight window or he was rushed and DJ didn't go after from the minute it left the ball's hand, DJ Moore had no chance to get anywhere near it. I don't know what if I were DJ Moore, I'd be like, what the hell did I do?
So I know Cardone said he didn't hear Collinsworth say anything. Collinsworth said something at the time of the play. He said it after the play was done and looking at the replay. And then he said it after the game was basically over with when they were lining up to kick the field goal, saying,
shows how much I listen to that schmuck.
You got to know what DJ Moore is. He didn't do this guy. You got to watch out for this guy like he normally does. But
Collinsworth, one thing real quick, I just want to say, Tirico had a great call on that Caleb Williams touchdown. I love Tirico. I think he's fantastic. And then all Collinsworth does is that stupid ass little chuckle he does. Like, dude, that's the biggest play of the season. And that's your response? Come on.
Loser.
So, yeah. Mike summed up that play perfectly for me. It's one of those where Collinsworth kept saying in the replay, when Williams threw it, look at this. He knows exactly where his guy's going to be, and he launches the ball. Caleb Williams had no idea where his guy was going to be. He just threw the ball up there, said, I hope someone catches this. I'm back at the 45-yard line for no fucking reason whatsoever on a 14 on a 4th and goal from the 14.
How could he see Cole Kmet 55 yards downfield with 4 Rams in front of him? And him running the other way. Come on. I don't know. I don't have any idea what it takes mentally to be an NFL quarterback. But I think if you ask Tom Brady about that throw, he'd be like, there's no way he knows he's there. It's just, I don't.
No, he doesn't.
Sometimes you throw him up for grabs and there's someone there. I mean, it happens, right? I was so like, I'll admit this. I freely admit this. Caleb Williams is 100 times better than I thought he was going to be.
Agreed.
He is very, very good. He is a very good quarterback, and he's going to be around for a while.
Yeah, he's a problem
up there in Chicago.
In a good way for us. Yeah.
And but no, come on. Let's give him time to make a real legacy. We don't have to invent one for him and blame other players when he doesn't throw a good ball. He'll have plenty of time to be great.
Home playoff loss where he ended up throwing the losing interception. That's all I'll say.
He just can't.
So we had 2 other games going on. I don't think there's a whole lot to say on the Seattle-San Fran game. I mean, San Fran was so banged up, losing Kittle, losing a lot of other players just this season. They did admirably to get there. There is a little bit to talk about in that Patriots Houston game, in that C.J. Stroud terrible. Drake May kept trying to throw the ball back to Stroud to the Texans too, but CJ just kept saying hold my beer and would make another mistake. And you guys had pointed out during the game. This is one I didn't really watch. I was listening to in the car, um, but you were talking about not replacing Stroud being a mistake on the coaching staff, and I have to believe that as well. He looked when I did see the replay, he looked scared in that game.
Looks like he's about to cry. Like every time that they showed him, he looked like he was going to cry. Like he had like water welling up in his eyes. Like this guy is not right, man. Like he was a good player 2 years ago. What has happened to this guy? And to sit there as the head coach and say, well, we don't have another better option. I got to worry about his psyche for next year. You're 30 minutes away from having to play Jared Stidham in the freaking final.
Yep.
Stroud had field looking as you know what I'm talking about. Gary and utter you wanted to go and just praying that with the defense before 2 weeks that and playing not a
Are we getting a choppy Cardone here?
Yeah, Cardone's very choppy right now. I'm getting that too. I wondered if it was just me. That's why.
Yeah, I was that's why I didn't say anything. I'm like, is that just me? I'm not hearing that well.
coming now.
We got the gist. We heard it up through. He looked like Fields out there, and then we kind of lost it from.
I just went on a rant about Fields, and you guys didn't hear it.
No, you broke.
Bring it again.
Keep going.
No, I don't. No, I was just going off on Stroud. Well, first about his performance. Obviously, I said this was something. This showed up last week in the Pittsburgh game with Stroud. So he and this is on D'Amico Ryans, right? I mean, I was pissed off at Ryans. This is where I don't know if we were texting this. I was certainly talking about this during the game where these head coaches are incredible. Where we were talking about cliches earlier with head coaches. Well, D'Amico Ryans was saying during halftime, hey, like he's our guy. CJ, we got your back. That's where you need to be a head coach. Put your hands on his shoulder and say, you are our guy. But right now, like this is the season's on the line, and I'm just going to go with Mills or the backup right now. But make no mistake, you're the guy. You got us here right now. I'm just making a move. It's sort of like when you take out a starting pitcher. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
I just have a gut.
Ball.
This is my this is what's best for the team right now. Don't let it just if we get past this game, then we'll talk about everything else. I'm just going with my gut for the rest of this game. So that is a fault of the head coach right there, not making a coaching decision in the middle of a playoff game. It's unbelievable. I don't know how much. I didn't watch the post game with that, and I just wonder how much he was questioned for that. I think he was.
No talk of that at all.
I mean, Stroud was so bad that he fucking ACL'd his own receiver trying to catch a ball that was thrown behind him.
Yes.
I mean, his receiver had tore an ACL just planting his right foot and having to go behind him. That's how inaccurate CJ Stroud was in this game.
Yeah. It's not like this is Belichick replacing Brady in a game, right?
Right.
This is a guy who hasn't really played well in 2 years. It's not above the pale to replace CJ Stroud in a playoff game. I know that the media and everyone does their best to pump some of these guys up. But you're his head coach. You know damn well he had a good rookie season, not a great one, but he had a good one. He was terrible most of last year. He's been terrible most of this year. If you have to, who said it on the text thread? I'm sorry if I'm stealing your thunder, but someone said if you're worried about your quarterback psyche, you don't even have a quarterback.
Yeah, I said that.
Scott, yeah.
And I love that line. I mean, that was spot on. If this guy in year 3, if you're worried about his mental state by pulling him when he's playing like shit in a playoff game, you need a new quarterback.
Like backup quarterbacks. Sorry, just for a second, Scott. They're not there just in case your starter gets hurt. They're there also because maybe they just have a better game than your regular guy who's struggling out there. It's okay to make a fucking move. This isn't baseball. You can go back to the guy. How you don't bring in Mills just at least for even one series just to see what I have in this guy? And if he's atrocious, we'll go. Now at that point, like you said, if that's going to hurt your feelings or your psyche, CJ, listen, Nick guy was already rattled and a sieve anyway. So at that point, what did it matter?
Yeah. Not to mention, Mills has played really well when he's been in.
He did play well.
He has.
But here's one thing I have to say. Think about the path the Patriots are going to have. That overrated tool, Justin Herbert, that horrid quarterback in C.J. Stroud, and now they've got a guy that's had a cup of coffee in the NFL to get to the Super Bowl. Can you believe this?
No.
This is what I mean. You've got to be very good, and then you've got to get very lucky.
God.
Hey, Cardone, all I was going to say is I was going to reemphasize sort of what you were saying, is that you, as a head coach, these are the moments that make you.
Yeah.
You have to at least make a move. If the move backfires, like you said, you could always put Stroud back in, but put Mills in for a series, see if it stabilizes things. If it doesn't, you tried. But
Stroud
to
was
do
that
nothing,
bad, and you knew it. Like, it was so visibly obvious that, how was he going to get any heat for making that decision if you took Stroud out? I'm thinking you're burying your own team by keeping him in.
What message are you sending to your defense, who's actually playing well and keeping you in the game?
Yeah.
You're basically saying to your defense, I'm doing this for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet he was not the coach that was fired this weekend out of the playoff teams.
Exactly. It's bad now.
So we did have some news. Good for the pod. Robert Saleh is going to the Titans next year. So he will be playing the Jaguars 8 times, the Colts 8 times, and we'll see them every week in an AFC South matchup.
So I'll tell you that the best thing about this news is that he's coming closer to the East Coast. More 1:00 games. We get him aligned with the Jets and Giants games. I mean, this is a big win.
I will be Ubering to Mully's every single time now.
Kevin Stefanski was hired by the Falcons, and then Baker Mayfield immediately took a swipe at his old coach, which I thought was funny. But so you had Harbaugh and Stefanski snapped up. You had Saleh snapped up. I think the Dolphins just hired Jeff Haley or whatever.
Hafley.
The coordinator for the Packers.
Yep.
And I think those are the only positions that have been filled so far.
So which teams are obviously Buffalo now? Which Vegas?
We got Buffalo.
What teams have vacancies right now?
Baltimore, Buffalo, or Baltimore, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Arizona, and Vegas. I believe are the 5.
So there's still 5. Yeah, it's a lot still. Yeah.
It's the other mind-numbing thing about Buffalo's decision. You missed out on 2 or 3 coaches already because of when you fired your guy. 2 or 3 coaches who may have jumped all over that Buffalo job if they knew it was available, by the way. Why not keep him one more year and just know, okay, this, I don't know. I'm never going to talk myself into understanding it. So,
well, and if they promote Brady to that position, I think they're more fucked than they were with McDermott. That's I'm not a big Brady fan.
But what about
seems to be a love-hate? Yeah.
Should Dable get fired from the Giants and go to coach the Bills? I mean,
wouldn't you think that Josh Allen has a hell of a lot of say in that building?
I don't know if Josh Allen really likes Dable.
Well, I'm saying I don't know if he does or he doesn't, but that could be a path to getting Dable that job. Would be Josh Allen might say, well, you're going to let McDermott go. I want my guy back unless you're going to hire Brady. Like he's got a lot of say there, and he should.
Yeah. So, do you guys have anything else from around the league?
We skipped over it, but I want to bounce back to Seattle and San Francisco just for a minute. And I know a lot of that was due to San Francisco just not being healthy enough to compete. But didn't that game feel like the 41-0 Giants over Minnesota game? Just that game was over at kickoff, right? I mean, that was just an overwhelming storm that could not be stopped. That was never going to not happen. I got the feeling, I was watching that game, and speaking of jealous, Novak, I'm like, I want to root for a team like this,
Yeah, I
just
know.
Yeah.
nasty and flying all over the place, and even with the score out of hand, they're showing up at the tackle with very bad intentions. I was really jealous watching that game. I was like, this is a team I would love to root for.
Mhm.
But
But
I
that's
think
all I
so
had.
far Seattle has been the most impressive out of the playoff teams. Um, much like the Bills, I think, or not the Bills, the Patriots. Much like the Patriots, I think they've been
Patriots.
given sort of an easy path
hmm
so far. That Rams Seattle game will be a really good one, I think.
Yeah, that
I
should be a
agree.
good game.
Yeah, that's on paper right now looking really that's a really solid game. But I want to say, when did Zach Charbonnet hurt his knee? How come I don't remember that at
Oh, he
all?
did it
Like,
right, sort of at the end of the half. He scored a
okay,
touchdown. I think it was on the touchdown run. He came up lame, and he tore his ACL.
yeah,
So he's out for the playoffs. So
oh yeah,
that is
yeah,
a
yeah.
big blow because outside of Kenneth Walker, he's really been their only other productive back.
Yeah. These, you can always tell a really good coach, because if you're the number one seed and you're at home and you've taken a week off and you've got this battle tested and a little injured San Francisco team coming in, that might be a team that's a little scary. That might be a cornered animal that you don't really want it. And Seattle just put that thing to bed right away. And
Right
and
away.
I'm giving away my pick here for later, but I think New England's going to do the same thing to Denver. They're not going to sit around and let Jared Stidham stay in this game.
That game is going to be a bore. I'm
Yep.
convinced of it.
That game's gonna suck.
Because they got a
Yes.
good coach. Vrabel right now is like foaming at the mouth in some meeting room, getting these guys, just do not give him a break. Do not give him an inch. Just bury this motherfucker. And we're going to call blitzes on every play. We're not going to sit back because he's a young quarterback. We are going to rattle, rattle, rattle. And that's just how you win these games so big. You can't let a guy like that get comfortable. You can't let an injured team, like a good injured team like San Francisco, think they have a life. You just got to go take it from them. And that's what good coaches do.
So unless we had a scoring system similar to the NCAA where you get double the points as you go along with the bracket, I think I'm out of the predictions now because I suck so badly. So we'll get the predictions.
You stole my line. I was going to say Scott is mathematically eliminated from the predictions, which isn't entirely true, Scott. You're back 3 with 3 games to play. So
So
you
we
can tie.
all got to get them all wrong, and Scott's got to get them all right.
Yes, exactly. Our magic number to eliminate Scott, guys, is 1. We have to guess 1 game correctly to eliminate Scott from the picks. So last week, Mike and Cardone both went 9-1, or not 9-1. That's a total record. I'm sorry. 3-1. So Cardone went 4-0. I'm sorry. Cardone got all 4 games. Yes. Cardone got all 4 games. That took him to 9-1. That's what it was. Novak and I went 3-1, which took me to also 9-1, tied with Cardone, and Novak to 8-2.
Mm-mm. I only have 1 loss because I got the first week all right at 6-0.
That's right.
And then this week you got, hang on.
Because you and I, Mike, last week both got it all right.
You picked Denver, you picked Seattle, you picked Houston and the Rams.
Yeah. Denver,
So
Seattle, and the
your
Rams,
loss is
3-1.
Houston. How did I miss
Correct.
that? So all 3 of us are 9-1.
So I might be mathematically
So
eliminated.
I want to make sure here that I got, maybe I mixed up or Novak and hang on. I picked Buffalo, which was a loss.
Mine's correct. Wait, I have 9. Yeah.
I picked Buffalo, which was a loss, and then I picked Seattle, New England, and the Rams. So I went 3-1. Novak went 4-0, coming off his 5-1 from the So we're all 9-1. So let me make sure I got Scott right then, since I messed that up. So Buffalo is wrong, Seattle's right, Houston is wrong, Rams right. So
I went
you
2
went
and 2. I went 2 Yeah.
to go to 6-4.
Which could be
6-4 for the playoffs.
respectable. It could be respectable, not along with this group though.
Yeah, the 9-1s. I mean, that's pretty impressive over 10 playoff games. So only 3 left to go. I will go first this week. It's funny, I just mentioned what I think New England's going to do to Denver, but like I told you last week, I write down these scores in advance Apparently, I wasn't feeling that when I wrote this down because I've got New England winning this 17-15. So between the time I wrote this score down and what I just said 5 minutes ago, something major changed in my mind. But I'll stay at 17-15 for that game. I have no idea why. I'm not even going to try to defend that score. More like 37-15 would be more like what I'm feeling. Rams in Seattle. I think this is going to be a good game. I'm looking forward to this game.
Don't we all do the first
We all
game?
gotta
and
do
then-
Okay,
Pats,
all right.
Broncos
Yep, we'll
first.
go through. All right, man,
All
I'm
right.
messing these up this weekend. I'm in good shape too. All right, Cardone is next at 9-1.
All right. Yeah, starting with the New England at Denver game, right? This is unbelievable. I cannot believe that first of all, both these teams. We talk about the neutral stuff all the time. We can't forget our teams, right? My whole life I just try to prevent other teams that I don't want to advance. That's all I have left. I wanted the Bills and Texans. At least one of those teams. We couldn't get either one of them, so we're staring at New England, Denver. Just a gross AFC championship game. Novak, you already said New England's path. For some reason, it just seems like the universe loves this New England Patriot franchise. They're winning this game. Stidham is not going to do anything. Vrabel's going to go. This is New England. I have it actually as a close game. I didn't even know what score I wanted to put down. I kind of like you, Mike. I didn't know how the game's going to go. I just wrote the score down. I got New England 23-16, and New England gets to their, what is this, the 12th Super Bowl they would go to? I think it's their 12th.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because this would be their 12th
Terrible.
franchise Super Bowl appearance in franchise history. So give me New England. As much as I hate to say that.
All right.
And Novak,
Novak?
I guess you're up.
I'm 9-1. I'm up next. So obviously I'm doing the same thing. The path has been ridiculous for that. I'm so annoyed by this whole New England thing. Had they won a big game all year that you can remember? Like a game where it was like defining, they're back, they've beaten this team on a last play or anything like that. They have sleptwalked through whatever this record is. I think they're completely overrated. And of course they get Jared Stidham. Now, I do think the Broncos defense is pretty damn good, and I think they'll keep it close for most of the game. But I see this as a Broncos get out to a fast start, maybe up 7-3, you think maybe, and then Stidham's going to come back to earth. I like the Pats here 23-10.
I don't like Sean Payton. I don't like the Broncos. I don't particularly like the Patriots, although I don't mind Vrabel. But I see this game being one where it's home field advantage for Denver. I think that the defense is actually going to be the one that turns the tide here. I think they're going to get a defensive touchdown or something that happens. Stidham will be a bit player in this. What I thought was interesting is that Nick Foles threw his support behind Denver this week, talking to them about, hey, just move on without your quarterback and go forward. I also thought it was interesting that Bo Nix hurt himself basically centering the ball for a field goal is the story.
Mm-hmm.
I've also heard rumors he hurt himself celebrating in the locker room, which no one's talking about. But we didn't
He
really,
definitely
didn't
something
really go
happened
into
on
that.
that play.
Yeah.
He was
He limped
tender
off.
on it after. Yeah.
But I'm going with the Broncos because I basically
Yes.
have to.
Yeah, you have to. You would mathematically eliminate yourself if you
Let's
didn't.
make it interesting, man. Let's
Yeah.
do
The
it.
Broncos are going to win 21-20.
Nice.
All right.
Orange Crush.
The Orange Crush. All right,
Carl
let me pick up
Mecklenburg.
where I
Yes.
left off here. The Rams at the Seahawks. This is, in my opinion, this is the Super Bowl. I think these are the two best teams in football right now. I think this is the way it fell out and we've seen that before in some of these championship games. I really like Seattle, as I just gave away watching that or in the last segment there. But I like the Rams, but Nakua and Devontae Adams are a lot to handle. But I think Seattle's up to it. The question is going to be, is Darnold going to melt down? Is Darnold going to hit his wall like he did last year? He did not play great in last week's game. He wasn't fantastic. Last year for Minnesota, he was really good most of the year and then just fell off. This year, he hasn't had the high highs like he had in Minnesota, but he's been steady. And so I think people are waiting for that to fall off. I don't think it happens here. I think he does enough, and I think Seattle wins 31-26.
Yeah, this is a tough one to pick because I like both teams. They both have what it takes to win this game. Obviously, that you get this far, you're there for a reason. One thing I went back and looked at. I went and looked over at Seattle's regular season just to see like Novak, what you just said about like New England. I wanted to see some of their big wins and who they have played, and so because for some reason Seattle's one of those teams. For whatever reason, I don't feel like I've watched them a lot this year. So just to kind of get a better feel for trying to pick this game. What's amazing is this team is what 15-3 now after the regular season, and in those 3 losses, do you know their losses are they've by combined total points is 9 points.
Wow.
That's it. That's how good and consistent this Seattle Seahawks team has been all year. They've lost 3 games by a combined total of 9 points. And Darnold seems to be the question mark, right? Everyone wants to kind of pin it on him, like, well, if he can implode or he's not the guy. The moment's too big, whatever. I think, again, I mentioned this, I think, last week. I think the guy, I'm not worried about Sam Darnold. I think he plays certainly well enough. Seattle gets it done at home. I think the road ends here for the Rams. I could easily pick the Rams for the reasons like that. Stafford, Nakua, all the McVay. I just like that team, but I think this Seattle team is just a juggernaut going up there in Seattle. Tough place to play on the road, especially in the playoffs. I've got Seattle moving on to the Super Bowl 26-21.
For me, look, you guys last year had your ultimate kick in the nuts Super Bowl, right? You had the Eagles and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. It was the Barkley going back, the whole thing. This is the Jets year. The worst team in the league. The Patriots are back in the Super Bowl, and a Sam Darnold-led Seahawks team is going to go in there. So I have to hear for 2 weeks about him seeing ghosts and all this shit from, playing for the Jets and asking him questions about how great it is to not be with that crap organization. It's the only reason I'm picking the Seahawks. All that other stuff, you guys want to get strategy, F that. This is the kick in the nuts game for the Jets. Seahawks win 32-28.
I like the reasoning.
All right. Tell us why the Rams are going to win, Scotty.
So I will tell you exactly why the Rams are going to win. It's because the Rams went into Chicago and beat Chicago in Chicago. You can go into Seattle and beat Seattle. You have the league MVP and Matthew Stafford throwing no-look passes to Puka Nacua and Adams. And they are going to take a overrated Seattle offense down. And the defense for Seattle might keep this close, but the Rams are going to win this game 24-20.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
They also have a fat kicker, which I like.
I love the
Yes.
fat kickers. Oh,
The thicker kicker, they call him.
that's
Yeah.
so good.
Kicker, who apparently laced into a profane tirade after the game. Like someone asked him a question. I think he had some expletives they had to bleep out, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah, you know who he was kicking for in the preseason?
The Jets.
The New York Jets. Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Another guy we cut. Way to go.
Love it.
So I'm gonna go to Mike for pet peeves to start.
All right. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it. Good luck,
Sorry.
everybody, on those picks.
You're almost spitting up stuff. So
I know, right, perfect timing. I'm waterboarding myself here. Okay, there we go. I'm back. I'm better. So I wanted to
obey.
we had talked about this a little bit, and the reason I didn't go down the road more because it was my pet peeve, but I am very interested in this week because I've seen it a couple times, mostly in relation to Caleb Williams, but there's a lot for other players too. I'll talk about that a little bit, but it's the manipulation of the stats when these guys don't quite live up to what media thinks they're going to do. So here's a couple interesting stats I saw on Caleb Williams. So I open up Twitter like first thing, after the games, and it says Caleb Williams, first Bears quarterback with 4,000 yards, with a little asterisk that says including the playoffs. So he already has one more game than any other Bears quarterback who's failed to get 4,000 yards has tried to get. Still didn't quite get there. It's very close with the extra game. But they're so anxious for this to happen, which I think clearly it's going to happen. This guy's just going to get better. He's going to have a 4,000-yard year. And they're not going to have to caveat it with, including week 17 and the playoffs. So I saw that stat for him. The other one I saw, it's the one number that's not great for Caleb Williams is completion percentage. It's not super high. However, if you go to the Bears media page today and they're trumpeting Caleb Williams statistics for the year, they reference a statistic I have never heard of before to pump up Caleb Williams' numbers. So Caleb Williams has a 68.8 adjusted completion percentage.
The hell is that?
That includes drops as catches.
Oh my God.
So these are the numbers that they just go to, and it says it's like 68.8%, and then underneath it, real small print, adjusted completion percentage underneath. So it's it's funny, and it's a little bit sad, but it's funny too. The place we're in, where we talked about it before. There's some quarterbacks you can criticize, there's some you can't. And so I don't know if you guys heard, but after C.J. Stroud's game, somebody, I wish I had his name. I wrote it down. Now I don't have it. But someone had to come on TV and they wanted to say that C.J. Stroud didn't have a very good game. They led it with like a 4-minute introduction to those statements by saying, now, I've been a staunch fan of black quarterbacks in this league. And like
Brian
they had
Clark?
to go on like it was a big guy. I can't think of it. Damian Woody, maybe someone like that.
No.
But they had to go on like a 2.5-minute explaining to us that they're essentially like, I understand this is a black guy, but I'm going to have to criticize him today, right? And I thought, how sad is that we have to do? We can't just say C.J. Stroud played like crap today. I have to caveat it and say, look, I'm not racist, but C.J. Stroud didn't play very well today. And that happened all over the league. You also, the minute Josh Allen plays bad, every commentator on ESPN, everybody runs out and says, now everyone who criticized Lamar, you have to criticize Josh Allen as well. And I'm sick of getting lectured from the media, especially the sports media. It's just awful about who I can and can't criticize and who I'm supposed to root for and who I'm not supposed to root for. You can be great and play bad. It's not like Lamar Jackson the guy has 2 MVPs. It's not like he's being like dragged down unfairly. He's been dominated, the best player in this league twice. It's okay when he has a bad game or a bad year to say, boy, that's not quite MVP level. It's okay for Josh Allen to have a bad game and be able to say, boy, he stunk today. It's one game does not define anybody. You don't have to caveat things. Saying a quarterback didn't play well doesn't make you racist or not racist, or calling another one out doesn't. It's one game in a window, or sometimes it's just a player who's not very good. I've stopped short of saying it about Justin Fields a lot. That I believe a lot of the love. If Justin Fields was a white quarterback, he would be out of this league. I'm sorry. That's just the way I feel about it. I don't want to take it there on our very lighthearted podcast, but I got a little fed up with it this week with the adjusted stats and other things that I saw excusing these quarterbacks who are not playing well in the playoffs.
Well, and Josh Allen actually broke down and apologized to everyone about his play.
Yeah. He was apologizing to his teammates and everybody, the fans. But I'm curious, though, Mike, on the adjusted completion percentage, can we also put in there the adjusted interception rate percentage? Because when someone drops an interception, because that happens. You see guys drop interceptions all the time. Yeah. Do they do the same thing for that stat, or no? We just
that would be. I see. That would be awesome. Adjusted interception.
Why not?
Well, he had 7 interceptions on the season, but he threw 3 more that the defenders dropped. So we're going to get him adjusted interceptions of 10.
Adjusted, could do that too
on the season,
or an asterisk. Yeah. However, 2 of those games were against the Jets, so no one gets interceptions against them.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know why we can't leave everything else out of it and just go by our stats and call it what it is when we see it on the field. This guy played well. This guy didn't. I'd love to just get back to that.
Did you know that if C.J. Stroud had spiked the ball on every single play, he would have had a higher passer rating than he did? That is a true stat.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need to talk to AWS about getting their stats right, as well as the fact that AWS is running commercials now talking about how they can see who the best prospects are for the draft too. I don't know if you guys have seen this one too. So
I can't wait to test that hit rate out with AWS. Excited about that.
So I have two light pet peeves. The first one, I was telling you guys, I didn't watch a lot of the games in live. I was listening to them on the radio, and listening to them on the radio, the description of the weather was interesting. like Kevin Harlan was talking about the Bears game. It's snowing horizontally. So I'm like, holy crap, this must be really bad. So Steph's calling it up on YouTube TV as we're driving in the car, and no, there's not really snow on the ground. There was a little bit. It wasn't too bad. We were listening to the Patriots game too, and same thing. It is cold, frigid here. There's snow all over the place. So I said, Steph, is the field like completely white? I was expecting like there to be like Kevin Harlan actually said in the Bears game that they were guys bringing snow blowers out during the timeouts to blow the yard lines. Which when I got home and I looked at the game at the end, it didn't look like anyone needed a snowblower. So I was asking Steph about the Patriots game. She said no, it's fine too. So just the description of the weather, a little bit over the top.
So we didn't have the convicted convict coming out there with the snowplow game back in 1983 or 82, I believe it was, up in there in Foxborough against the Miami Dolphins, the 3-0 game. A guy came out with the snowplow. I think you can Google the snowplow game.
That story will live on forever. It's been like 50 years. They still talk about it.
Yeah, they can't wait to bring it up.
Like a random guy just shows up in the field and clears the field. Yeah. That's
a little
awesome.
Tractor. He's just driving out there.
and my second one is it's a lighthearted one. I didn't know where to put this. So there was an Africa, and Novak's going to love this because it's going to go back to refereeing and things like that. But this is a Africa Cup game that's going on. Morocco hosted the Africa Cup this year. And in the final, it was Senegal versus Morocco. This is in soccer. And if you watch the video of it, there are people. So it was raining in the final, and the Senegalese goalie was trying to get a dry ball. So he had his backup goalie behind the goal throwing him towels. And he would wipe the ball down. Then he'd give the backup goalie the towel back. After the backup goalie would get the towel, the Moroccan ball boys would try to steal the towel from this guy. They were tackling him. They were putting him aside. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? There was actually like chaos. And Morocco was hosting the event. So Morocco was like, it was probably like watching the USA versus the Russia 1972 basketball final, where it was utter chaos, where people are openly trying to get Senegal to lose by keeping the goalie from using their towel. So I thought to myself, the NFL, mild by comparison when I think about conspiracy theories and things like that. So
that's fun.
I
love foreign sports.
I thought I'd open that up to like other people in our listening
Well, I don't know how I'm supposed to follow the Senegal Africa Cup wet ball game, but apparently I have to.
The cup one.
So my pet peeve, we touched on it earlier, but we didn't go into it probably because you guys knew I was go down this road, and this is this tool, Gene Steratore. This guy is such a shill for the NFL. And what is the point of having this guy on the broadcast? I mean, Romo Zuna's, I don't know, Jim. Gene, and then Gene, what do you think? No, Jim, it's the correct call. Absolutely the right call, 100%. No doubt in my mind. It was a drop. Not even a second or a shred of the fact that this might have any doubt at all that this call could have been wrong. And it wasn't just the one call with Cooks. He did it the whole game. Gene, and then Gene, what do you think? No, Jim, it's the correct call. Absolutely the right call. 100%. No doubt in my mind. It was a drop. But not even a second or a shred of the fact that this might have any doubt at all that this call could have been wrong. And it wasn't just the one call with Cooks. He did it the whole game. If you're going to have these guys on the broadcast, have them be real. Don't be a shill for the NFL and make it out like we're all so dumb that we're just going to, whatever you say, we're going to take it at face value and everything that you say is all true. Because that's what their NFL is trying to do, is have these clowns on here telling us that, well, these fans don't know shit about football. This is exactly how they got it right. And it's every single play. It's every single decision. And it wasn't like this as much during the regular season. But you know what happens when the playoff happens. No one gets concussions. No one gets COVID. Every call is right. Everything is perfect. And I'm tired of it. Get this tool off of the broadcast. I don't want to hear from him again. He's the worst.
Yep.
Novak, you could expand that to Macaulay, too. Macaulay is a shill as well.
All of them.
All of them.
Macaulay goes and tweets about how correct all the calls are. And it's like, do you never side with anyone but the refs?
Never.
Listen, it's a wonderful idea to have an ex-official in the booth watching the plays. But if they are unwilling to criticize, they don't even have to criticize. If they're unwilling to just say, boy, they missed that one, then they're useless. There's no need for them to be there at that point.
No.
It's clear the NFL has them there, and they have this great idea that should be, again, the NFL just can't stick the landing. This should be a no-brainer, great idea of someone to explain without a doubt to the fans who aren't as familiar with the game why they called what they just called and whether or not they got it right or wrong.
Yeah.
Instead, the NFL has co-opted it to use it as a validation, because when I get to work on Monday, when I'm talking games with like people I work with, they parrot these guys word for word.
Yep.
The announcers, and especially, if I go like, it's kind of a bogus call. Oh, Sterator said it was a good call. It's like, well, then you're just a parrot for Sterator right now. I'm telling you, Sterator's wrong. But who am I?
I actually liked, I don't know if you guys remember, for a while there, they dabbled with like Jay Feely coming on to talk about like kicking. I actually liked that because I don't know much about kicking, but so he would say like, well, the wind's a little left to right. He's going to want to aim towards this, or they got to put, it's a 57-yarder, so he's got to kick it a little lower. Like, I find that interesting because I wouldn't know a difference between trying to kick a 57-yarder and a 39, but apparently there's more intricacies to that. That's not what these guys do. Like, that's cool. Like, that's fine. These clowns, get them out.
Yeah, and you could find so many inconsistencies. Like, Mike, you were talking about, like, them coming on. I can't remember what game it was. There was a game where they didn't call a personal foul on the quarterback for getting hit in the head. And I almost think it was last week's game it was during the Panther Rams game, where someone was hit in the head and it was a glancing blow and they didn't call it. And the ref in the booth came on and said, well, that's a glancing blow. We're not going to call that if it's just incidental contact. And then they called one, I think, in the Bills game. And, of course, he's like, well, that's got to be called. It's a blow to the head.
Call it every time.
You get this like inconsistency. And that's sort of what we were talking about in the opening when we were saying, guys, we don't know what a catch is. It's an inconsistent ruling over and over again.
Yeah, wouldn't it be great if like the official came on and told us like, hey, Gene, what goes on in these huddles? Like right now, there's a flag on the field. It looks like to everyone, it looked like a pretty obvious flag. Why are we huddling right now? Like what are they talking about in that huddle? Wouldn't that be interesting to hear?
Absolutely.
Different
judges have different sidelines that they're monitoring in different parts of the field. Like I want to know that.
I want to hear him say, well, the one guy's coming in saying aggressively, he didn't make the catch. Yeah. The other guy is saying he made the catch.
Be great to hear Sterator say, now we call this guy the bully ref. Now he's going to come in here and change this call. They probably took Feely off Novak because they're like, well, you've been on 3 years. You've told us everything there is to know about kicking.
That's
we
fair.
don't really need you anymore.
Cardone, pet peeves?
So I had a couple of peeves floating around in my head, and I settled on one that is actually one that I have used in the past, and I'm
So
gonna
I didn't
for
step on yours with the Senegalese one.
absolutely not, absolutely not. So,
Cross it
but
off.
so you know, the playoffs come around, and the four of us like to go out and venture out. We go to our favorite place, Super Wild Card Weekend. So we did a little bit. We ran that back a little bit this week. We had an abbreviated group from our group. So Scott, you were out of town. Hisman was unable to join us, but Novak joined me. My brother came down. Had a few other friends, local friends. We went out to watch the game. So the place where we went out to watch the game is home of the original Whopper. So for listeners that may not know what the Whopper goes all the way back to the 1983's movie, The War Games, with Matthew Broderick, and the Whopper was his fucking anti-nuclear war elaborate computer system, which obviously sits at the Hickory Tavern on Ballantine, and trying to get the DVR to set to to try to program it to an NFL playoff game. Because as we're watching, this was Saturday we were there, as we're watching the Denver Buffalo game, and obviously we're transitioning to the San Francisco Seattle game. But what happens? We got 45 TVs, and there's one with the NFL game on. The rest of it we're watching fucking pole vaulting, and I don't know what else we were watching. So I think it may have been Greg who went up and talked to the manager. It was Greg who gets up, talks to the manager, and here's how that dialogue went. He goes, "Hey man," he goes, "Can you put the other game on?" Like, well, the other NFL. Well, what game are you talking about? The NFL game. There's a playoff game going on, and there we go. And that starts the madness of trying to get this one of these TVs switched over. So there it is. The guy. It's the same console. It's located in the same place. It could be the same manager that we had. This goes back 5 years. We had this. So this pet peeve with this is Hall of Fame pet peeve worthy stuff.
It is.
It really is. And it reared its ugly head again on Saturday night. We're thinking there's only I could see maybe on a typical Sunday where there's 14 games going on, and there's like 8 games on at 1 o'clock, going to the 4 o'clock game. There's 2 fucking playoff games on, one at 4 and then one at 8. How difficult it is to program this Whopper to switch to the game? We had to orchestrate the entire thing.
Yeah, had to be you guys.
Yep, we had to. Yeah. So we had to manage the entire switchover from whatever multiple TVs that we were watching over to the San Francisco, which doesn't. I mean, the game was a blowout. Who cares? But I mean, the point is, we're still dealing with the Whopper, and I thought I thought it was worthy enough to run that one back again from years ago. We haven't. So we were laughing we were joking around amongst ourselves, right, Novak, like thinking this is going to be trouble. You know, when you predict the Whopper's coming and you see it and you're looking around and like you don't there's that. So I'm barking as the game started. I'm yelling from my seat, real mature. I'm like, there's an NFL football game on Fox right now. Like just hoping anybody would hear that.
Well, that was the best part of the night, only because it wasn't just you; it was your brother and Cardone going back and forth, yelling at whoever was listening, like two peas in a pod, like yelling. One's yelling this way, one's yelling the other way. People are like looking at them. It was. I wanted it to not end because I was crying. I was laughing so hard that they were both yelling out. Your brother kept on going, "There's a game on! There's a game on! Where is it? Where is it?"
It's incredible. That we
say
still
what
have
you
to,
will.
Yeah.
Say what you want about Mullies. They're good with the Whopper. They don't get
Absolutely.
that part wrong.
It's it's amazing to me. Like if you went to Hickory Tavern's website right now, or Facebook page, it would say, "Come out Sunday and watch all the NFL action." They can't even they can't manage 2 games.
Right.
They can't.
By the way, the guy asked Greg, like, well, what game are you talking about? And then And then the follow-up question, well, what channel is it on? Oh, my God. Yep.
That's what I said. My response to that was you should have been like, can you get Hornets Sacramento Kings going? Because, we're really interested in that game.
I do think part of it might be Novak, I don't think that's happening in New Jersey, right?
No, God, no,
that,
no.
those games are on, and the fans in the bars demand it. And you're in Charlotte, so the last time we were on the original day of the original Whopper, we were in there, and there was we had to ask to get the Panther game on.
That's right.
There were people there with Dan Morgan jerseys, like just drinking beer. The Panthers are on. It's 7-0 in the first quarter. We're looking at our phones, losing our mind. Dan Morgan doesn't care. He's pounding a beer. He couldn't care less. I don't. We're like, the Panthers are on. What are you doing?
It's unreal.
So as we're talking,
wait, Cardone, did you have a second one?
No. That was.
I thought you said you had two.
I had a couple floating around, but that was the one I wanted to go with. Yeah.
So there is breaking news that I just saw where Mike McDaniel might become the offensive coordinator for the Chargers. So that was just posted. So we have some questions. Peacock asks some questions, and this first one I'm just going to roll with. Who has a better chance of being found in 2026, the Jets offense or Sam Beal?
God.
So he's leaning into former Giant Sam Beal, who has been declared missing. We talked about last
Didn't he get us a Rob Reiner one a couple weeks ago? I mean, what is going on with Peacock? I mean, he's an angry fan.
He doesn't know the meaning
Dark
of too
Peacock.
soon.
Yeah, Dark Peacock. What's going on?
You want to take that one?
Beal guy, the Beal guy. I would go with that.
Yeah, I would say the
Let's
same.
go with Beal.
Go Deal. Yeah.
So it's not going to be the Jets offense.
No, come on. The Jets are going to be 2 wins next year. Get out of here.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty good question. If Tomlin, Vrabel, and Harbaugh were given the same exact roster and schedule, who wins more games? And given their history, I might go with Vrabel, honestly, on this one. Just because he coached the Titans. The Titans sort of sucked ass. They didn't have much, and he took them to the playoffs. I know Harbaugh's done really well. I know Tomlin's done really well, but they also had good quarterbacks for a stretch there. So I'm going to go with Vrabel myself.
I like the question. That is a good question. I'll say this, like, if you're talking about 1 year and it's the first year, I would say Vrabel. If you're talking about over a 9 or 10 year period, I think Vrabel's stuff wears thin. I think that happened in Tennessee. So I might say that, man, if I needed to win that year, I take Vrabel. I kind of see Tomlin and Harbaugh as interchangeable pieces. They're the same, definitely different methods to their madness, but Harbaugh's more, or Tomlin is more, I think, of a player's coach, and that's how he gets people motivated. Is he sees himself as one of them, they see him as one of them, and I think that's a little bit different than Harbaugh, who's more of like the CEO. Trust me to put you guys on the right path. I'll get you there. So it's different methods, but I think they're sort of interchangeable as coaches. Tomlin would be more fun. I mean, there's no doubt that having Tomlin as a coach would be fun. I would enjoy that, but
yeah,
I'm very happy.
I would say in a season, I would take Vrabel, but if you said of those three, pick one guy to win a Super Bowl, I would take Harbaugh.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah,
like it.
Yeah, I kind of agree with what you guys just said. I don't have much to add to that, really.
So he also asks, start, bench, cut in their prime: Sean O'Hara, Kevin Maue, Nick Mangold. And this is a tough one for me. I look, I don't know offensive line play all that well. I would probably start Mangold, have Maue as the bench
That's
guy,
Mawai.
and Mawai.
Yep.
And
Kevin
I'd probably cut O'Hara. Even though I love O'Hara, he's just an undersized guy. So I really, that's why I say I don't know enough about offensive line play to be intelligent about this one.
I would say the same.
I agree with that.
That's a tough question.
I wonder why those three players.
Yeah, because they don't play the
There's
same
something
position.
I'm missing.
Mangold was a center, no?
Yes, Mengel's a center.
Oh, he's
I guess.
going
Yeah.
centers. Okay.
Oh,
Okay. I got you.
O'Hara's a center. That
Yeah.
one I didn't know. I
Yeah,
know
because I
Milan
was going to
Okay.
say,
Yeah.
why did he go? I wasn't thinking centers. I was thinking, why did he go O'Hara
Guards.
over Snee?
Yeah.
You know, like,
I see.
but I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all centers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm cutting Kelsey just because, even though he's not in that question, just because I'm sick of looking at him.
Yep.
Cut the
So,
dick.
can I cut Kelsey? Just because he
Yes.
plays that position, and I'm tired of looking at his eyebrows and everything else. So I'm cutting Kelsey.
Well, agreed.
So my friend Mike asks the question: if the Giants can only re-sign one of the following three free agents, who do you pick? Illuminor, Wandell, or Cordell Flott? And I'm probably picking. Well, I like Illuminor. I think he's going to attract a lot of money, so I'm picking Wandell.
If they can only
Wandale.
re-sign one,
Only re-sign one.
Flott, definitely not.
it would be. I kind of like Flott. If I had to pick one, it would be Wandale.
I mean, think about how good he might be with a full season of Neighbors. A great
Yeah.
slot receiver like that. I would absolutely go for
Wandale.
Wandale.
Coming off his best
Wandale's-
season.
We're gonna be. He's
yeah.
gonna be expensive. I don't know if we can pay him or not. But if
see.
money didn't matter, I'd pick Wandale. Yeah.
So Mike also asks for Novak.
Oh,
Do you think the Jets will even try to trade up with the Raiders to get Mendoza? And if so, what would you be willing to give up for him?
I think they will make an attempt. Yes. I don't think the Raiders will bite on it, but I would be open to swapping picks so they get the 2. I would give them our second pick, which has that number 16, and I would give them one of our number 1 picks next year. Whatever came in first, like our highest one, probably the Jets.
It's unfortunate for the Jets because they have the capital to pull this off. The
They do.
unfortunate thing is they have a team who can't give up that prospect.
It's a
Because
one
the
quarterback
Gi- the-
draft. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
It's because the Giants didn't fuck up enough.
yeah, you fucks.
Mike also asks, he says the Broncos have given up 24 and 34 points, including 30 the last week, in 5 of their last 6 games. Can any of you explain why they're considered a great defense? And to me, it's a great question because I wonder why they're considered a great defense. I'm also wonder why Bo Nix is considered a great quarterback in certain ways. I think it's because they have guys that can get to the quarterback and they have defensive backs that are highly rated. But this could get exposed. I don't know.
I'm
I mean,
not seeing what he's seeing here. I mean, they gave up 30 to the Bills, right?
I mean, Surtan's the best corner in the
Yeah.
league.
So
That's a
he's
soft
saying
partner,
they've
of
given up
course.
30 between 24 and 34 points in 5 of their last 6 games is what he's
Oh,
saying.
okay. I think I'm looking at the schedule backwards here. So the last game of the regular season, they gave up 12 to the Titans, or was that the first game of the regular season?
That might have been the
Oh, no.
first.
No, that was first. Yeah.
Because
Okay.
AFC
So
AFC South was the last weekend. Everyone from the AFC South played each other the last
yes,
weekend.
that's correct. And yep. So I'm seeing here they gave up 3 to the Chargers, 13 to the Chiefs, 20 to the Jags, 26 to the Packers, and
No,
then
34 to
17.
the Jags because that was a loss, Mike.
They
You better
lost.
Read it.
Yep,
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Well, I think that's a fair question. I don't think if you hadn't pointed that out that I would have assumed that, but I think it's more about the way their defense played in that ridiculous 10-game winning streak they had in the middle of the year. I mean,
Well,
and
you
they-
think about that game against the Giants. The defense didn't play particularly well. The Giants just fucked
No.
that one up, you know?
I thought that might be a good
Where do
point.
they? I don't know. Where do they rank in sacks and turnovers and stuff? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they're an impact D, right? Not
Yeah.
necessarily a points D.
Ben don't break.
Yeah.
So Mike
Yeah.
Michael also asks, he said there's all this talk that John Harbaugh has next level everything in Baltimore from the weight room and cafeteria to analytics. Do you think that stuff really makes a difference, or does it really come down to drafting good players and hiring good coaches? I think it's a combination. I think it's leading men. I really do think when you're a head coach and you're good, it comes down to leading men, which is not something you can quantify. But listening to John Harbaugh, he will tell everyone in that locker room what the objective is and let them get on the same page. And if you're not on the same page, you're gone.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. Go ahead, Cardone.
No, I was just going to say kind of the same thing. It's just I think it's his command of just like you said, his leadership ability, his command of the locker room, his command of the respect that he's kind of earned in his tenure there. So just now he just needs to continue building on that at a new team, our team.
I mean, I think all of it plays part of it, but I think that he's not going to get caught up in that cliche stuff like the Dan Campbell, the biting the kneecaps, and Robert Saleh's stupid phrases like all gas, no brake and stuff like that. It's going to be first class all the way. It's going to be buttoned up, and it's going to be my way or the highway, and it's exactly what the Giants needed.
I don't think we'll be going for it a ton on like 4th and 5 from like the 25. We're going to be kicking the ball.
It'll be interesting to see. I know he has a lot of respect for analytics, and I think people assume that means like go for it all the time. It doesn't. It's a different sort of analytics. It's like playing the schedule. It's weird, but I know he's kind of a philosophical guy, and he uses that data not just to say we need to go for it on 4th down every time. It's a little bit another level deeper than that. But I will say this: in my industry, which we renovate locker rooms and stuff like that, we just got a lead for the Giants, so they are renovating their locker room and weight room. That hit us today.
Oh, nice.
So I'm sure that Harbaugh said something about, hey, if I take this job, we're going to need to do something about this weight room here.
Well, he apparently is a big proponent of having the weight room be like one of the focal points of the organization. So that's good. You guys have anything else for tonight?
Well, we didn't bring up the Robert Saleh hire. So did we touch on that?
We talked about it briefly, but
we did.
Yeah.
Real briefly, I guess. Yeah.
He's in the AFC South. He's with the
Titans. What am I? How could I miss that? Yeah, we talked about it. So,
but I'll be excited for that next year. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
His 26 games against the Colts.
We've got Saleh on the schedule, so imagine. I'm looking. Tell you, that's one thing I'm looking at.
Is next year we have the AFC South completely, don't we?
We have Saleh.
Absolutely, we do.
Oh my God, a Giants Saleh game.
Well, we did say one of the other rules to the Saleh game that we created at the bar on Saturday was if during the AFC or NFC championship, Saleh somehow gets on camera, it's a whole beer.
Yeah.
So it's not even in the game, Saleh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
So I will say this, boys.
That's like a royal flush of Saleh.
Exactly.
That is like a big one.
We might want to look. We haven't been to a game in a while. We might want to look at either at Tennessee or in New York at Tennessee.
Then we'd be staring at him the whole time, and we'd have to just get drunk, like
live Saleh.
Live Saleh.
Live Saleh.
Big screen Saleh. Oh God.
Jumbotron Saleh.
So if we don't have anything else, we'll be back next week to break down the conference championships and talk about any breaking news. But it's been great talking about this round of the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
See you next week.
See you.